So we've given our heel piece enough time to dry. It is dry, very secure. We are going to go ahead and finish it out and get it ready for painting. We won't actually do the painting until the table's ready, so we can do all of that in one shot. What we're going to need is some fine grained sand and some of the larger rocks from the sand or from kitty litter. Whichever one you want to use is completely up to you. If you only have a bag of that yard sand or play sand that you get at Walmart or Home Depot or Lowe's or whatever hardware store you go to, a lot of times it's going to have this large grain sand or these large rocks in it, and you really want to control where you put the sand on the table. So you can use a very fine strainer, put it over the cup, dump in the sand, and let the small granules fall into your cup here. And conversely, you can use a large strainer. You can see this is about twice as big as the grate here. You pour your bag of sand in. Only the largest pieces will be caught in here, which is what I've done with this. Very large rocks, comparatively speaking, to a grain of sand. So those are very cheap and nice tools to have. So we are ready to start gluing. We're going to use the Pro Bond. It is actually Pro Bond inside of this Elmer's Glue All bottle. There is about an inch worth of water, about an eighth of the entire volume is water, just to make it spread a little easier than it would. This is normally pretty thick, so just make sure and water it down a little bit for this part. Other parts you may not need to water it down, but for being able to spread it on the foam, we definitely want to water it down just a little bit. So with that watered down, we're going to do the bottom piece first. I just find that a little easier to work with, a little more surface volume than on top. And we're just going to spread it around. Looks like I have a string in there or something. So let's get rid of that. That's a little better. And I still have some more dried glue on the inside, which is not a good thing. We don't want that. There we go. We're flowing now. Alright, so now we're going to take an old brush and just start to spread it around. This is probably going to eat up a lot of camera time, so I will pause it here, finish spreading the glue, and come back whenever we're ready to actually put the sand down. Okay, so now we have the glue all spread evenly. We've made sure to come to the edge here. We've gone inside the edges in there. And what we're going to do now is place our big rocks in. Doesn't matter where we place them, just somewhere that looks creative. You don't need to press these down very hard. They will dry up with the glue and be fine. I think that might be enough. Alright, now we're going to take some of our larger rocks from the sand. We're going to sprinkle those around the edge of each of those small rocks, or excuse me, of the larger rocks. And we're going to do some at the base. Just kind of let it fall in there. And that's good. So we're going to dump off the excess into just an old box, letting some of those larger rocks fall onto the glue. So you can see how it's spread out just a little bit, but it looks like it's washing this way. Now we take our box. So this part gets a little messy. Set up our piece on the box. Camera up just a little bit. And now is where we pour our sand. Don't have to be neat on this part. Just make sure you get all the way to the edge. And dump this half. Change the other half, do the same thing. Well, I just don't have enough room here. Dump it off. And there we go. This one, the bottom piece is finished. So we're going to let that dry before we do the top part, and I'll just go ahead and do the top part off camera since all it is the spreading the glue, maybe putting a couple of small rocks on top and then putting the sand on it again. But for the most part, that is how you do it. Now that we have our sand and rocks done, it's time to go ahead and seal the sand and the rocks to the board. For that, we're going to use scenic cement. It can be sprayed on. I prefer to use an eyedropper. So all I'm going to do is shake this up and get another one of these old cups. Make sure you put some kind of towel or cloth down underneath it because sometimes it will drip off the edge, and you want to have it elevated so when it does drip, it won't stick to anything that you have underneath it. So I just have another 2-inch piece of foam stuck underneath it. So this is good and shook up. Gonna pour a little bit in here. Now I'm gonna get my dropper, fill it up, and then I'm just gonna hit every part of the hill. Anywhere that there's sand, you want to make sure that you are filling it with this scenic cement.